𝘂𝗶𝗱𝗁, timeless hospitality.
Movies were something that I always wanted to do ever since I was a child. Filmmaking and storytelling have been my whole life. I like the work I create to be beautiful, to be exciting. I want the film to have an impact on people, an impact that they won't lose the moment they walk out of the theater. I love to take an audience somewhere they've never been before, and I want to take them on a journey that they're going to enjoy every second of. I like my directing to at times be transparent and at times be very stylish when it's appropriate for the material.
The summer I was 11 was lost to me. It was like something impossibly sweet mixed with blood or tears to make something indescribable. Something that could only be felt. A terrible, uncomfortable feeling attached to something else I longed for. Something I deeply missed.
Don't you touch her, don't you go near her. Of course I love you. It is dangerous.
Get away from her! Get that knife away from her!
What's important to me when I'm doing very dramatic or very emotional scenes is to be able to feel that from the performers and feel that emotion. If I can feel it, then I believe the camera can feel it, and then I believe the audience will feel it. When I see those actors on the set, and I see what they're going to do, then I can determine what shots I want to have. And I will then create a shot list on the spot and basically storyboard it on the spot and get all the coverage that I need. And this is why I say that directing is all about adjustment, because all I want to do is adjust those actors to give me what I feel is necessary for the story. I don't want to take away from what they bring to the table. As a director, I wanted to be able to tell all sorts of different kinds of stories, not limited to just one particular category. Because I feel that as human beings, we experience so many different things. We experience humor. We experience anger.
Not gonna let myself become that kind of insane monster that killed her.
You're not detectives.
Experience tenderness, I feel life. I feel all these things about life that I want to share those things with people. And I feel I can do that through film. I want every frame of what I do to say something, to mean something, to have an impact on the person who sees that frame. I want them to walk away a different person, a better person than when they went into that room.
That looked pretty good. What do you think?
We are back.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So I hope that gives you a little bit of insight into,
Yes,
into my
please.
background. These are all films that I directed and wrote as well as produced. So let's go where you'd like to go, Petra. Let's discuss whatever you'd like.
Yes, I found you very sensitive in this demo reel. I always was feeling that, but I apologize, but I have not seen your films up to now. I think we have to prepare a tribute for you when you are going to come to join us in Cyprus. Tell us your inspiration, because we are in Inspire TV live talks right now. When did you decide to make your first film?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you very clearly. You can see me, yes?
I can see you, yeah, hold on. Can you hear me better now?
I hear you a little better, yes.
Okay, because, yeah, I say I would like to tell us more about you. How did you start making films? What was your inspiration? Who are your favorite filmmakers from the past years? I mean, from the legends. Yeah, tell us everything.
Well, it was something I always wanted to do as far back as I can remember. My family came to the U.S. from Hungary back in 1956, and I was born in the U.S. After they came. But when they came, they brought my grandfather from my father's side, and he never spoke English. So I grew up speaking Hungarian with him, and he used to meet me after school. When I was in elementary school, he would come and meet me there at the school. And I remember that we wouldn't go home. We would get on I remember this clearly, the 91 bus that would go down to Hollywood Boulevard. And every day after school, we went down to Hollywood Boulevard together and went to see different movies, sometimes 2 or 3 after school before I went home. And he was hard of hearing, so we would sit in the back of the theater, and I would translate the film to him into Hungarian. And sometimes when the films were not the greatest, I would change the story and tell him something altogether different, and he loved it. So I think that's probably where my love of storytelling first came from. And that's what I always wanted to do. I went to film school. I got out as quickly as I could, and then I got to the point where, and I was 18 when I got out, so I only had 1 year of high school. I took a proficiency exam, and I went directly to film school. So I graduated already at 18, and then there was the big decision, which was, what do I do now? So I can either go to work as a PA at a studio, or go into an agency and work in a mailroom, and I didn't want to do any of that. I just wanted to go right away and make the first film. So I went to my father, who was an accountant, and I asked him, I said, look, could you maybe talk to some of your clients and raise some money so I can make the first film? And he said, okay, I will do that, but it must be a commercial film. It must be a film that's going to make the money back, because if it doesn't, then I'm going to lose those clients and you're never going to work again. So I went and met with every distribution company I could. And some of them didn't take meetings with me, because when I was 18, I looked 15 even. But the ones that I could speak to, I asked them, if I was going to deliver a finished film to you now, what type of film would you want to distribute? What type of film do you feel would work the best in the marketplace? And at that time, teen beach movies were the type of film that would work. And of course, it had to be a type of film that could be done on a low budget, because we couldn't raise any significant large amounts of money. So they said to me, a beach movie, teen beach movies are working very well. So I went out and I looked for a script, looked for a story that fit that. And then we raised the money to do it. And that became the very first film. When it was finished, I had a screening in Los Angeles for all the distributors that I could invite. Many of them wouldn't come, because they always like to watch films privately. But of those that came, the head of the distribution company, a fellow named Mark Tenser, whose company was Crown International Pictures, came. And the next morning I got a phone call, and he said, "Kid, I like your picture. Come into my office." So I went there the following day, and this was exactly the kind of thing that you could envision, that you would see out of these movies about Hollywood. I went in there, there was this big guy smoking a cigar, sitting behind his big wooden desk, and all these posters of all these exploitation movies behind him. And there was nothing on his desk except two things. There was a check and a legal size contract that was about this thick. So he pushed the check toward me, and he said, "I like your film, kid. I want to distribute it. We're going to make a lot of money together." So I looked at the check. We had made the film at that time for $55,000, $57,000 actually, in 35 millimeter, with a 5-week shooting schedule up and down the coast of Los Angeles, of Southern California. So here was this check, which was about half of the budget already. So I was like, wow, okay.
This was a down payment? This was a down payment,
it was an advance. The distributors oftentimes would give an advance against royalties, against distribution royalties.
Yeah.
So I reached over and I started to look at the contract. And he put his hand on top of mine on the contract. And he said, "No need to look at it, kid. Boilerplate. It's all boilerplate." Of course, I learned a lot about the legal world shortly after that. But I sometimes talk to students and young filmmakers about a reason to make a bad deal. And this was the first deal I made. And in the end, of course, the deal was 98% of every penny, of every dollar went to them. And very little came to us. But we still made the money back, and some. But they made, I don't want to say 10 times, many times 10 the budget.
Yes.
So, but that film became so successful. That film became, was called Malibu High. And it was so successful that it gave me the opportunity to raise the money for the future films. And so that's how I got started.
Amazing start, and very motivating for the future to go on. Did you work again with this distributor?
You know, I didn't work again with this distributor. And I have to tell you something, not because of the way they dealt with us. I have to say that of all the distribution companies I've worked with, including the studios, this company was the most honest of all. I got reports, I got the money. Of course, the contract was a very brutal contract. However, they did live up to the contract. Everything that was in the contract, they provided. Later, when I made another film, several other films, I worked with a company called Canon Films. I went to Canon Films for distribution. And in fact, it's funny because I met the heads of the company, 𝘂𝗯𝗀𝗀 and 𝘂𝗯𝗀𝗀𝗀 from Israel, at one of the film markets, and they were very anxious to make a deal. And I learned a lot about contracts by that point, about the things that you have to be careful about, the things that you have to make sure you have in a contract and make sure you don't have. And I made a wonderful contract. I got all the points in I wanted. So, I mean, I drove the best deal possible. However, it didn't matter because they had no intention of living up to the agreement at all. So even though I had the best contract I could negotiate, it's only worth the integrity of the people that you make an agreement with. So I've learned that contracts are basically only made for the courtroom.
Yeah. What is your opinion about self-distribution for the new filmmakers? Distribution. What is your opinion about that? It is useful?
Well, of course, you know, distribution has gone through such a big change over the past 10, 15 years. Self-distribution allows you the opportunity to have your film seen. You have to decide, I really believe this is extremely important. Before you start a film, when you're about to make a film, you have to decide, who are you making it for? Who do you want the audience to be? Because that is a big difference in how you approach the film, the budget that the money that you raise. Are you going to raise money that you have to pay back? Are you making a film that's only from the heart, that doesn't matter? Money doesn't matter, but you want people to see it. And that's what's important to you. Are you making a film because you have something deep inside you that you have to get out, that it's something creative, artistic, emotional that you need to express? Is that the reason you're making the film? those things, I really believe that when somebody is about to make a film, you really, really have to think about who you're making it for and the purpose of it. So many young filmmakers, especially, just, oh, I'm going to make this story, or they want to make something they think will get them into the business. So horror films are working. I'm going to make a horror film. But you have to realize that what you're up against, if you're going to make a horror film, let's say, you have to realize who you're up against. You're up against Jason Blum and a company called Blumhouse Films, who made Get Out, and they made the Purge movies and all of that. Is that the audience you're going for? And are you going to make a film that's good enough to be able to compete against that? I like the idea of self-distribution in the sense that you have control over it, and you're able to get it out there. However, self-distribution doesn't mean anything if you don't have, and you're not able to market it well, because you can put it out there on the web, you can put it out there on social media, you can strike DVDs and have them ready to ship out. But if people don't know about it and people don't care, then you've wasted your time. So with self-distribution, you have to be very good at social media marketing, publicity, all of those things.
What is your opinion of now, because of the pandemic, and we don't know what will be done in the future. What is your opinion to have virtual premieres instead of going to the theaters? This can happen?
Well, it can happen, but again, you have to keep in mind, how do you have a company? Did Netflix pick up your film? Okay, did Amazon pick up your film? They have the ability to have a major virtual premiere. But just like I said with self-distribution, you can have your premiere, but if nobody's watching, it's not going to matter. So it's very critical how you get the film, how you get publicity and marketing. If you show your film to these distribution companies, let's use Netflix as an example, and they like it, and they want to make a deal, they will handle all of that. They will take it and they will make all of those decisions, and they will do what they think is best. Now, what they think is best is not always what's best for you or for the film. But once you hand the film over to them, it's all in their hands. Something that I think a lot of people have to be very careful of, and I'm going to say this as far as film festivals and as far as, let's say, self-distribution and having a virtual premiere. Once the film is exposed, let's say at a film festival.
Yes.
The film critics from the major trade papers are usually at many of the film festivals. So that's the first time they're going to see it, and the first time the trade papers see it, they're going to write a review. Now, if that review is not really good, then you're in a very difficult position. You're going to be fighting uphill from then on. Yes. Because the distribution companies read those reviews. And so this is why a lot of times.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you, but I don't understand. The journalists can see the film private also, or there are private screenings, or they can send him the link. So he's going to write in any way, in any case. So what is the difference to be virtual in a festival or not video on demand? I don't get the point.
What I'm saying actually is I didn't mean so much to pick out film festivals from this.
Yeah.
But any showing where a critic can see it The moment they see it, private, festival, a link sent to them.
In a theater also, they are going to
Yes.
write. Yeah.
The trade papers will usually write. Now, this is really good if the film is really good. If your film is really good and they write a good review, then that's amazing, because then all the distribution companies will be coming to you. But it's risky because, for instance, at Variety, let's just use Variety or Screen International as an example. One film critic at Screen International might write a wonderful review of a film. Another film critic at Screen International would watch the same movie and write a not good review of that. So this is very dangerous in that sense. It's important to know who the film critic is that's going to see it. But I didn't mean to get off the topic here. If you expose the film to an audience outside of a film festival, then the distribution company is going to be you're really hurting your chances of getting any distribution with one of these major distribution companies.
Yeah, I understand. If your film is made in such a way that it can get distribution from a big company. But if not, yeah, it is a chance, it is an opportunity to premiere also virtually. If you cannot, or if you are going to wait for 2 years. If I'm a creative person, I want to make another film in these 2 years. After 2 years, I want to release another film.
Yes.
So yeah, we are not James Bond to wait for 2 years to to go to the theaters.
I would suggest, I really like to go the festival route first, because you get receptive audiences at the festival. You get people already, the people coming, they want to like the film. They actually want to enjoy it. So a festival is a really good place to premiere a film. I would much prefer to premiere a film at a festival than to just put it out on social media or just to have a link out.
Yeah.
Because you also get a following, because at each festival, there are festival programmers and directors from other festivals.
Exactly.
So if they like your film at one festival and it's well received, you will get invitations to other film festivals.
Exactly.
And it grows that way, and you get an audience. The other thing is that those people who like the film, who see it, will then start to write about it. So you build a momentum. And if this is a pretty good momentum, then there's a chance that a distribution company will come to you after the film has had a good, positive, successful film festival run and ask you, be interested in distribution. So and again, we're talking about low budget films or short films. If short films are much more difficult as far as major distribution. There are only a few companies that distribute short films, and they usually package them together and then put them out as a package. That's great for a first-time filmmaker or with a short, because then you're going to get a lot of exposure. That's the best you can hope for with a short film, but don't expect that you're going to make money off of it.
Yeah.
The short film, there's really no income.
Exactly. But maybe the short film is a pilot for a feature film.
It can be. It absolutely can be, and that's been done, and it's been done successfully before.
Do you have any examples to share with us that short films became successful feature films?
Well, let me see. I'm just trying to think here. That's on the tip of my tongue. There are several, actually, a few studio films that were made that way. Trying to remember also. It may be, I think, actually even Get Out. I think that Jordan Peele made a short from it and then showed it to Blumhouse, and they liked it, and then they made the feature from it. That's happened a few times, and but you can't count on that. And your short film has to be a story in itself. So it has to be, you know, if you want it to be able to be in any kind of festivals or any kind of audience, it can't just be only a promo. Many times, some people have made a promo, like a 5-minute or 10-minute promo.
Yeah, this is a teaser. It's not
correct.
So,
correct. It's not I don't consider that a short film.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
A short film is it has to have its life, you know, has to have beginning, middle, and end, and
exactly.
And then you can expand it.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't want to take this long, and I know that you are very busy, and thank you for being with us in the 15 Cyprus International Film Festival. We are with Lawrence David Folders, an acclaimed director and producer and a member of the Academy Awards. And please give us your opinion, your wisdom. As short filmmakers, we would like to take this route, this path. They want to walk in this path to the Oscars. How a short film can be qualified in order to enter the Oscars?
Okay, I will give you the technical first, and then I will give you the artistic second, okay?
All right.
So as far as the Academy is concerned for the Student Academy Awards, a filmmaker has to be one of a few different categories. Primarily, the filmmaker has to be enrolled at a university, at a film school that is an accredited film school that is part of the accreditation organizations. That's a key thing. And if you are not, it used to be up until about a year ago, last year, that you didn't have any chance of having your film in there. Now, first of all, the film school is the one that submits the films to the Academy. So in other words, out of all the films that are made at a particular film school, the film school, the professors, whoever are making the decisions, they choose which film they're going to submit for Academy consideration. Now, they don't always choose the best film. Sometimes they choose films based on favoritism, or there are many factors that can go into this. So a lot of times students are not treated fairly. So what we did at the Academy is we changed the rules so that if a student feels that they haven't been treated fairly, they can submit their film to several festivals on a list that we have, which are qualifying festivals. If the film wins in 3 of these festivals, then the student can submit it directly to the Academy. So that's one option. The other thing I wanted to say is that there are students that go to film schools which are not accredited. And this, again, I was pushing very hard because I believe that there are a lot of film schools that deserve to have their films looked at by the Academy, but are not accredited through these organizations. And so, and not because they don't have a good school, but because they can't afford the accreditation fees, any number of things. So a student can now request the Academy to consider that film school if they believe that they have a film that is worthy. So what we'll do is we will now look at that film school's criteria. So we will vet that school and see if they meet a certain level of filmmaking. So you know, it has to be a legitimate school. They have to have a good film curriculum. It can't be one of these 2-day film school fly-by-night kind of things. So if we look at that and we feel that the school is worthy of it, then we'll accept submissions from that school. So those are a few ways that that students can get it to the academy. Again, the film school route gives you, you know, if you have a good film, then you're in control of that. You're not waiting on the school to submit it or not.
Ah, okay.
Now, the other advice I want to give is, I think, the most important, which is, I believe that you should make the film that you have inside you. Don't think about what other films are being successful or not successful. Don't try to copycat films. Make the film that you feel the strongest about, and that is the closest to you. The story that is the closest to you, because what's in your life and what's in your experience, that's going to be the most powerful, because you have it in you. Again, you're not trying to copy something else. So don't think about anything. Don't think about financial issues. Just think about the story that you believe in passionately. Because if you're passionate about it, then the audience will be passionate about it.
Yeah.
If you make a film just for the money, or just for thinking that you know, you're going to get a job, people are not stupid. People who watch films, many people, they can feel that emotion. It's like what I talked about in the demo that you saw. Yes. When I have a performance from an actor, if it doesn't move me, if I don't feel it's convincing and believable, the camera's not going to feel that, and the audience is not going to feel that. So this is why I'm saying with stories, that it needs to be a story that you feel so strongly about that you can put it up there and make the audience feel as strong.
Yes. I'm very happy that you say this to us, because we focus on first-shown filmmakers with their first short film, so they would be very proud about that, and from your words, that they do the right thing. Because what we see as a festival for the first short films is their soul, their inspiration, their hard work, their vision. So thank you very much. And it's a reminder for the rest of the filmmakers to follow our heart and to do something that expresses ourselves. And
yes,
our dream, our vision. Yeah.
And also, Petra, what I want to mention too is that, of course, like when we're looking at something at the Academy, okay, of course, we would like to see the most technically proficient, the slickest, the most professional looking, high production value that we can. But that's not all. And that's not the most important. Film schools in Germany and in Scandinavia have a lot of money, and they make very high-end, very professional-looking films, sometimes in 35 millimeter, even once in 70 millimeter, we saw. But if the story isn't there and the heart isn't there, it doesn't matter. I've seen some films from some very poor countries, poor schools. For instance, there's a lovely small film school in Myanmar where I spoke. Yes. And they don't have a lot of money to work with, but it may not be as slick, but what's more important than being slick is being emotional. So when we look at it there, if it moves us,
yes,
that's the thing that's important. Not so much that it's slick. Of course, I'd love to see something as slick and moves me, but the most important thing is that we see how passionate the filmmaker is about it, and that we are actually moved, that I feel moved.
Yeah.
Those are the films that I judge in a positive way, just like what I'm doing in the judging now for you.
Oh, I'm very glad that you see such kind of films in our festival. Lawrence, what is your next project? What do you prepare something? What do you work on?
Well, I'm actually working on a few different things at the moment. I've had a request from distributors for remastering my early films. So I have a company that's putting out special edition Blu-rays on my early films, and so I've been working with them in doing all the special features and remastering the film. So that's one thing I've been doing. The other thing is that I have I've decided that on some of my early films, I'm making a new version. I'm rewriting a new version of them because I'm young enough to remake my own film. So, and it's very interesting because now I can take a film that I did before and take the essence of it. What is the core essence of it? And look at it from a whole different perspective than when I was 18, 19, 20, 25.
It will be a remake or a sequel?
No, remake.
Remake.
Remake it. Okay. But it's a very different movie because it's a different time in my life. And so I actually like that. I like that idea. And then there's a very interesting book which I've optioned, which is a very, should I say, unusual love story. I like, of course I like blowing things up, especially early on in my career. You could see that I did a lot of action movies and things, but, and that's fun to do. But what means more to me are films that I can say something about, say something to the audience. Because in that dark room, of course, when people can go back into a theater and be in a dark room, we have the ability to actually transform someone, to change their mind about something, to make them feel differently about something, to like something, to dislike something. And I would rather do something that would really move and change someone, as opposed to something that just, just sells popcorn, and babysits people. So I'm, as you could see from my last film, from Finding Home, I enjoy things that really do touch people here and here. And I think that that's that's the path that I'm following.
Yeah, very good. So thank you very much for being here with us. Enjoy the short films. I think you have the veteran category. They are a bit more experienced from the first-on filmmakers, the Got Talent. So we're looking forward to meet you again in Cyprus next year.
Thank you.
We will find a way. We would like to see some films, a selection of your films. Let's talk about that, how this can be done. Maybe if the pandemic goes away, maybe we can do something earlier, sooner.
Okay.
So let's work on that. We're very happy that you are on board with us. With the Cyprus International Film Festival, we focus to first-on filmmakers with their first short films and also their first feature films. So everything you contribute to us, like you did today, it's very inspiring and very motivating and very supporting. And so we can go on. We feel that we can go on. We do something.
Yes, no, I'd be happy to, and I can do some wonderful workshops there about directing your first film and producing your first film and so forth. So I think we could have a good time next year.
Yes, we will do that. Every year we produce a film, a short film during the festival. We write the script. There is an idea. Maybe there are some locations already set up, and we shoot the film the first 2-3 days of the festival, do the editing, and we present it at the award ceremony. So
I
this
love
year,
that. That's great. That's
yes,
great.
but yes, but this year it was not possible to be done because we want to do it physically. So
Yes.
next year, and you will be the instructor.
Absolutely.
It's a deal. It's a plan.
Absolutely. Yes, Petra. Thank you.
Okay.
I would really enjoy doing that.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being with us. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. Goodbye, everybody. Good luck with your
Bye.
films.